Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Glad to have you all. I know it's been a while since we talked, so it's good to get something out and get you guys updated on what's been going on. I think it's been about a month, actually a little over a month now since we've had an update. There's a few things going on with that, what's causing it. I'll get into that, some personal stuff, some airplane stuff. Nothing to be concerned about, just life, you know, getting busy. But rest assured, we're still making progress on the old girl. I'll show you what we've been getting done. I'll even go in and explain some stuff that I've had purchased for the plane for a while that I really haven't had a chance to show you guys yet. A lot of avionics stuff, things of that nature. But first, we'll start off with a what's been going on with me update. I've had to film this intro 3 different times now. So I think it's time to upgrade. I keep having some sort of issues with the audio getting corrupted. When I'm editing the video in Premiere, it's fine. When I go to export it, it's fine. And then after it renders, the audio will be gone on one clip, but the other 4 or 5 clips, the audio's fine. So if any of you guys have a recommendation, I've been filming on an iPad or iPhone, capturing the audio several different ways, whether it's with the phone or iPad's audio itself, with the earbuds through a piece of software on a like a movie maker program that I got. But I think it's time to upgrade to a camera. So if any of you guys have any suggestions on what type of actual camera I should get to continue the build logs with these things with, leave it in the comments below and I'll be sure to check it out. I don't want to go too wild. Obviously, I'm being cheap by doing it on an iPad and all that stuff. So maybe an entry level DSLR or some type of equivalent like that would be good, I think. I'm just getting really annoyed with all these corruption issues that I'm getting with the files. So, I mean, an update shouldn't take that long, but I spent the majority of yesterday editing and rendering and trying to upload, only to have a video go live this morning with no freaking sound in it. So that's been taken down. I'm down here redoing it again, and fingers crossed that it works this time. So with what I've had going on here lately, I'm not sure how much you guys know about my aviation journey. I am not a certificated pilot yet. I'm still just a student pilot. I've been training since before COVID hit, if you can believe that. I ran into some stuff with my medical that kind of delayed me after about 25 hours when it was getting right up to solo time in the first try. I've since got all that worked out. I've got back into flight training. I'm actively training right now. So I guess shortly before the last video I put out, I was able to pass my private pilot written knowledge test with an 89 somehow. I felt like I absolutely bombed it, and my head was hanging low when I went up to the front to get my score. But we passed that almost with an A, so hey, that's good enough for me. Since then, I have this week actually, on Memorial Day, I did my first solo cross country flight, and I followed that up with a second cross-country flight on Friday evening. I'm only 0.9 hours away now of cross-country solo time from getting that requirement fulfilled. And then maybe 4 more hours of just solo time, non-cross-country. And that should have all the tick marks checked to be check ride eligible. So really excited about that. I've gained just an absolute ton of confidence by doing these solo cross countries. I almost had this complex, like I didn't belong, or I was never going to get it, or like it was never going to click. But just being forced to go do it all on my own without the safety net of the instructor sitting there in the right seat really elevated my confidence, and I feel more like I belong in the airplane by myself, if that makes any sense. I don't know if anybody else has had that, I don't know, that level of doubt throughout the training. And I believe partially mine is because I swapped airplanes. I originally started training in a junk box 172, kind of like everybody does. But when I went back after my break and I got my medical and stuff straightened out, I started training in a Cirrus SR20. And I believe moving to that plane kind of exaggerated the feelings I was having of self-doubt, because I like to respect other people's property, right? I don't want to mess anybody else's stuff up, and especially someone else's nearly $1 million airplane. So with it being high performance and very expensive, I think that just added to my self-doubt. So going and actually doing and talking to ATC by myself, getting the flight following, swapping the frequencies, making the calls, doing the own navigation, and just spending some quality time in the airplane alone has made me really feel like I deserve to be flying that airplane. So that's pretty good. I'm trying to fly regular here, and I think I'll have all the requirements done within a couple weeks. Hopefully before I got a week-long trip out to Arizona for work coming up. So I'm hoping I can knock all that stuff out, polish up some spot landing stuff. So like short field and soft field technique needs just a little bit of work. I can still usually hit my point, but setting it down soft on a soft field and taking off on a soft field where you have to kind of hold the nose up and balance the plane on the mains, that's going to need a little bit of work too. So just some polishing up stuff, and then it's just full-fledged check ride prep, hitting the books, and flying enough to stay proficient. So really looking forward to that. Hopefully we can get the check ride done before Oshkosh. That would be great. And give me more time to concentrate on this thing. But enough about me. Let's talk about the airplane. One of the more fun projects that I've been doing was remolding the wingtips. When I got these, this is one of the unfinished ones, meaning it still has the mold inside it. I got to dig that out. Speaking of, if anybody knows how to get that foam out of there other than just chiseling it out, let me know down in the comments, because I am willing to take any information you have on getting that stuff out of there. It is a bear. But when I got these wingtips, they had like a recess in them for some wingtip lights that were pretty old school, right? They're big and chunky. They got incandescent bulbs in them. They're fat. And I just didn't really want to go that route. Apparently the bulbs were hard to find, is what the last owner told me. And I just didn't want to mess with that. So what I did was I went and got a set of these Aveo Power Burst NG lights. They're really cool. They're navigation light plus strobe combo. So they've got strobes in the tip, so you don't have to have a tail beacon. And then they got all your other standard lights on them too. Very low power draw, because they're all LED. And they would not fit in the old hole. You can tell these are pretty slim. I think they fit the profile of this wing tip more. So that's great. But I've had to I've had to resurface the outside of these things. So I ground all that flat, ground the fiberglass down where it was molded to the old light. I've refiberglassed it, reshaped it, bondoed it, molded it, and got it good to go for the new lights. In fact, you can still see the Bondo powder on my hand. But yeah, doing this has actually been pretty fun. I've never done body work before, so I've enjoyed working with that. Now my room behind me that I done it in is about an inch deep in Bondo dust and fiberglass dust, so cleaning that up is going to be a bear. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So the wingtips are reshaped, coming along. I just got to drill some holes, get that mounted, get it all flushed up, looking good, and the lights will be good to go on that. Another thing I got in yesterday is a package from Alaska. This is a sample pack of the covering for the airplane. It came with some adhesive. I've got another box from them coming that's going to have like the edging tape and all that stuff. So this is Oratex 6000. This is in the OD green color that the plane is going to be in. I wanted to get a sample of it just to play with the material, see what it's like, get a little bit of experience, and also check the color. I was afraid it was going to be a little glossy, but even with the lights and stuff shining on it for the video, you can tell it's more satin than it is gloss. So that's good. It shouldn't be hard to knock the sheen down if needed with paint. Because you know, I don't know if I've shown a picture or not, but this is going to be it's going to have a camouflage pattern on it. So having the green base will help save money on the paint job, because we'll just have to put the other colors on it and not the green. But it's great looking stuff. I mean, super tough. I mean, you're not going to rip it. This 6000 is made for, I forget what the gross weight of the airplane is, but it's heavy airplanes, bush operations, gravel and dirt runways where you may get rocks flying up and hitting it. So I'm real excited about that. I've got our comm antenna painted up. It doesn't quite match, but we'll fix that later. This thing was bright white, and it was going to stand out like a sore thumb. So we got a little bit of work to do on matching the paint for the skin in the antenna, but that shouldn't be too hard to get figured out. So that's the Oratex. I mentioned in my last video, I believe it was, or maybe the one before, about the catch can hitting our air cleaner that goes up here. So here's the solution. We just got a new catch can. We're gonna mount it somewhere like that, out of the way, allows for the expansion and whatever's needed, and gets it out of the way up there up top. And then this little guy is going to get mounted in the wing, and it's going to go with our primary flight display. This is the Avionics AV Mag. It's a independent magnemometer that is going to help the DG and all that stuff on the inside that you're going to see in a little bit. So super excited to get all this going, and yeah, ready to show you some more of what I've been doing. So I will catch you back here in just 1 second. All right, so I've kind of got the fuel pumps nailed down now, nice and snug. I may add one more of these on here. I really just could not find any automotive accessories that would fit these pumps. It's weird. I even stopped by the Summit store down in McDonough to try to find something for these Walboro fuel pumps. But anyways, we've got our filter nailed down in place. Got both of our fuel pumps going good. got the fuel lines off this radiator hose. I'm still going to put a little heat protectant around the fuel lines here, just to be safe. You know, I don't want anything moving, but this has been reinforced with an aluminum plate behind it to hold everything in tight, and I may put a little rubber piece around it for a vibration insulator. Who knows? But yeah, so that's going on there. This is pretty much done. Clean up the wiring and then run the new wires for the the backup or boost pump, and all will be good there. All right, everybody, our first little bit of avionics I want to show you is our Avionics tail beacon. So this is our answer to ADS-B compliance. Like I've mentioned before in other videos, I live in and fly in some very congested airspace around Atlanta. I'm not far from the Bravo. I'm surrounded by Charlies, and there's just a lot of general aviation traffic around here. So being able to be seen and know where everybody else is at is a wonderful thing. So this is my answer to that. As you can see, I've got it mounted inside the wing, which is typically not where a tail beacon goes. You know, you would normally have it up here somewhere, right? But there's nowhere for this thing to go. My rudder is completely curved. So talking with the guys at Avionics, this is what we came up with. We've got it buried inside the vertical stabilizer. So it's just a little piece of aluminum that I epoxied in. We'll cover this whole face in fabric, and it's not going to have any problem getting the signal through the fabric. And then I'll just paint over these LEDs and stuff so they're not like blinking behind the fabric looking crazy. So yeah, just epoxied in that piece of aluminum, mounted her in good. Got some temporary zip ties to help me run the wires, but we've got our wiring harness made up and ran up to the front. As you can see it through here, I'll try to be as smooth as possible doing this. We've got it just ran up the fuselage there and into the back. This is what I was telling you earlier about where I reinforced on the front and the back for the antenna. So yeah, that's just that. And let's climb up in the cockpit and take a look up there. All right, I'm going to try my best to do this without the camera rotating. But that's our wiring harness right there that I was telling you coming from the back. We've got our radio antenna ran through that conduit. That's about the only way I can see to get the wires up behind the dash. Directly under the plane, like under this floor in here, is the wing spar, and we're obviously not going to drill through that. So really our only other option would be to try to get it through those gussets or those uprights and run it up. I can't find a good way to drill a straight hole through those, and those are kind of structural anyway, so I don't really want to. So this is my solution. I got this gray flexible conduit that's pretty tough. We're just going to run it down into that corner, up the side. Our rudder cables are already running in the floor anyways, so we'll just run it up, and then we might pop it through that, or I might just run the conduit around that. Not sure what, but that'll keep our cables nice and protected. Looks kind of industrial too. It's the same color, luckily. So it should blend in, especially with the seat and stuff in here anyways. You're not going to see, you know, this area over in here anyways, because the seat's going to sit down in that little pocket. So I don't think it's going to be as bad is what I'm fearing it might be. So please give me a little bit of break on the nastiness of the cockpit. I've spent so much time wiring and doing stuff that I've had to put me a butt pad so I could sit down in here for extended periods of time and work on what I'm going to show you now, which is the new panel. It's not done. As you can see, there's wires and stuff hanging loose still. Um, but yeah, this is some of the changes I've made. Um, upper right is our MGL Razor head unit for our radio. This thing is going to have a bona fide legit radio in it. I could not stand the thoughts of relying on a handheld battery powered unit to try to talk. Um, so it's going to have a full-fledged legit radio in it. Touchscreen controls on that module. Front and center up top, we have our new tachometer. It's all digital, and you might can see it. I don't know. It says GPS multi-instrument on it, which is because if we look up here, that little box right there is a GPS receiver. So this tachometer is not only going to show us engine RPMs, it's going to give us speed, GPS speed. It's going to be, we're going to get GPS direction. It also has the capability of showing fuel level, oil temp, oil pressure, water temp, basically everything except fuel pressure, which I have in that small black gauge down on the lower right. So yeah, it's going to be great backup for our gauges. It's going to give us a lot of information, and could be, you know, even backup navigation if something bad were to happen in flight somewhere. Top left, as you can see, is the UAvionics AV30. It's going to be our primary flight display. You can, if you're not familiar with what that is basically a Garmin G5. It does everything that the Garmin G5 does. It's a primary flight display, gives you attitude information. It hooks into your pitot-static system, so you get your airspeed and, you know, all that information from it. Your directional gyro is built into it. The AV mag that I showed you earlier hooks into it and gives it additional information to display probeless angle of attack, heading information, and all that good stuff. So this thing is going to be money as a primary flight display in something that you want to keep looking like a 1940s fighter. I think the black gauges and stuff do a good job with that, kind of keeping it looking stealthy. So I think the bottom three analog gauges down there, I'm probably going to swap them out for like our fuel pressure gauge on the right, the glow shift digital, just so that way when it's sitting on the ramp powered off, they're just black gauges. Everything's just blacked out and it all just blends in, looks old school, and kind of goes with the flow of what the airplane is. So that's what I've been working on in the cockpit. It's still a work in progress. Obviously there's wires hanging and stuff going everywhere, but yeah, man, I'm looking forward to getting everything dialed in on this and giving y'all an update when everything's finished and working. All right, well, thanks everybody for stopping by and checking out the update video. I'm going to try to get you guys more as we get stuff finished. Hopefully work will calm down a little bit, or the flying will back off a little bit, something. Hopefully we'll gain some time and concentration to get back on this old girl. The good thing about having stuff halfway done is it's already halfway done. So I've only got half a ways to go on a lot of stuff on this thing. So we should be able to get you guys some more content out more regularly as we move forward. But I hope everybody is having a wonderful start to the summer. We've made it to June already. Oshkosh is just right around the corner. I know it's still 2 months away, but that's right around the corner. It's closer than it was in February, right? So hopefully we'll see some of you guys there. I know I'm going to be there. It'll be my first time this year. So I'm really looking forward to that, even having to put up with the summertime Wisconsin heat and thunderstorms and all that crazy stuff. But yeah, hopefully, if anybody's there, we can meet up and hang out and talk airplanes and have a good old time. So I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you on the next one. See ya.